Today I guess we're going to be talking about normies. Um, Sorry, I am really tired and really unshowered right now, but I mean, what better state to be in to talk about normies, right? gotta show how different and cool I am. Ah, um, so normies. I don't, I don't really understand like how a normie can exist in 2026. It just seems like our world is just so fractured along like every single line imaginable, where it's like we live in the world where every single person has their own opinion that everyone has to hear, and that it's just like, you know, the online has spilled over into the real world, and that was kind of like the dividing thing back in the day between, like, normies and not normies, was like, okay, who's already had it to where the internet's kind of spilled over into their real life for them, and who's kind of, still living in the real world. Well, nobody lives in the real world anymore. Nobody does. Um, that's just kind of the state of the world right now. I feel like someday, in like, you know 80, 100 years from now, maybe even late in my own lifespan, that like this time period that we're currently living in is just going to be remembered as that time whenever, you know everyone went through this sort of mass psychosis in response to this new technology, and like just lost their fucking minds, and that's how we ended up with a reality TV star for president. um but it's just like I don't understand how you can be a normgroid. I don't like what does a normie life even necessarily look like in 2026? And like, I've tried to talk to my coworkers, not obviously about this, but like I talked to my coworkers about a couple other things where it's like, I'll talk about stuff how it's like, yeah, no, like I skip food sometimes so that way I can pay for my stupid little hobby of collecting TVs. Sometimes I'll skip food, or I will acquire food through other means, and it's just like to me, I live in a world where there isn't enough sort of there isn't enough money floating around, and there never will be for me. So when faced with the option between food and things that I like, I'm gonna take things that I like every single time, because things that I like will last forever and food doesn't. And it's just like I talk I talk to these other people. And I try and tell them something like, you know, oh yeah, no, I've been going hungry for this thing that I really like. And then like they feel really bad for me. Or whenever it's like I had a bunch of social events that I was going to. Because I still, believe it or not, I'm actually a pretty social person, or at least I try to be. And like I go out more than just about anyone else that I know. I've talked about this before with a friend of mine, where I talk about how I feel like I'm kind of the only 20-year-old that I know that actually does 20-year-old things, like, staying out too late and stuff like that. And it's just like, ah, I talk to my coworkers about how, oh yeah, no, I had a date night, and then I had to get up really early from that to come into work. And then I had another event in the morning that day, and I had to get up super early for that. And the next day I had another event that was super early, and I had to get up early again for that. And then I had to go into work, and then I had to do my laundry late, and yada 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 yada, and like, you know, cramming in these social events in the workday. And my coworkers were just like, "Oh, just sleep in, just don't go." And just like, what do you mean don't go? What the fuck do you mean? You just, does everyone just sit inside and like watch their Netflix all day? Is that what they fucking do? Is that what they do? Is that what people do these days? They just sit around in their little pod and eat their fucking McDonald or whatever and fucking, you know, watch porn and Netflix and jerk off. Like, I am trying to put myself out there and go and do things, and just, I keep on getting told by people not to. And it's just off the fucking wall to me. Like, no, I'm gonna have a life. So just like, what even is a normie in the current sense of the word, where like, what does the normie do? What is the species that you speak of that, like, you know, stay, like, how can it be that a normie is the one that sits inside all day, does nothing, and socializes less than me? What the fuck do you mean? That does not sound like normie behavior. So, I have to ask, what the fuck does it mean nowadays? And, you know, a lot of the times, it's sort of been replaced with like, oh, well, it's neurotypical now. That's kind of like the new term. But I feel like technology has made it to where like nobody really is neurotypical. Like nobody can really like escape the effects from this fucking thing where it's like, I mean, like, I guess being a normie means that like you believe in social media or something. Maybe. I don't fucking know. It just, like, I don't think that anyone is really neurotypical in the sense that it was 20 years ago. I don't think that category really exists anymore. And, like, that's kind of why we have the whole thing where a lot of people nowadays say, like, oh, autism isn't a real thing, ADHD isn't a real thing. It's like people have these endless ruminating fixations on, like, these certain communities that they get involved in, where it's like, you still have people arguing about, like, if characters in their video games are hot enough, and they think that is, like, the most important thing in the world. And these are normal ass people who go to work and who do shit every day. Like, I can almost guarantee you that not every single one of these fucking people is like, you know, neurodivergent or whatever, because it's like, this shit impacts elections. This social media shit impacts elections. We would not have a reality TV star for president if this whole thing did not affect elections. And so just like, you know, 4chan speak has gone mainstream. It's gone mainstream. So what the fuck is a normie? What even are they? And the more I try and like think about it, the less I can actually understand what one even is. Ugh. And just like, I just don't, I think that it's an obsolete category. I really think that's what it is. I think that 4chan truly was successful in killing all the normies. It just doesn't exist anymore. And just, like, people still talk about, like, that dichotomy, like it's still there, and it's just not. It's just not. But, yeah. And so, like, I don't really know where else to take this rant. Other than just, like, because I can tell when there are neurotypical people. I can tell when there are neurotypical people because their valuations are different from mine. Very different. But I think that there is a difference between being involved in the mass and being a normie. Like, you can be part of a mass and not be a normie in the conventional sense of the word, where it's like, how should I put it? Where it's like let me put it this way. Like, you can be a communist, furry, polykill, cat girl, whatever, and, go to your local T for T, whatever the fuck. And, like, you may be a majority there, but you're not a normie. Like, you're not. And that same concept still applies to a nationwide standard, where, like, yes, you can be part of the majority population, but you still aren't a normie. And I think that's kind of why we've been seeing a whole lot more, like, how should I put it? That's kind of why we've been seeing a whole lot more entitlement from people, and people thinking that really stupid things are, like, the most prescient issue in the country and stuff like that. It's because we've destroyed the category of a normie. That's why neoliberal respectability politics died and stuff like that. It's just because, like, respectability politics has no place in the shit-flinging world that we've created. You know what I mean? And just, I don't know. I just feel like neurotypical normie as a category is kind of obsolete, and I even feel like the concept of neurotypical as a whole, as things stand, just kind of doesn't really exist in the typical sense of the word. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old. But, shit's fucked. We're all gonna die, etc., etc. Heart.